So I suppose with all of that in mind, when we're talking about culture and values, and I'm really interested in your take on what does leadership mean for you in your role as a CIO at Urban Edge.
Wow. What does
It's so
leadership
personal, right?
mean?
That's the thing with leadership. Everyone is different in the way that they do it. So I'm finding it a fascinating insight. So
Hmm.
yeah, I'd love to hear
Yeah.
more.
I think that throughout my journey and as I look at my career, there's things that I've learned along the way where I'm going to summarize into three things. One is you have to um, have a strong, and tireless work ethic because you can't succeed alone,
Yeah.
right? But because you can't succeed alone, you also need to have a village in order to get there. And then finally, once you have that village, you must take care of your village.
Yeah.
And that to me are like the three things I have learned along the way in my career that are really, really important from a leadership standpoint. Of course, there's many things that go with it. It will go within each of them, right? Communication and empowering and all of that. But those would be the three things that I would think summarize
I've never heard it
leadership.
described that way, but and it took me a while then to realize what you were saying. But as I was writing it down and mulling it over, you're absolutely right, because let's use that analogy of the village. What the village gives you is not a group of the same person that is part of your team. What you're talking about, if I'm not mistaken, is a real mixture of personalities, types, skills, interests, which form this character of a team, and then you've got to nurture that team to get the best out of it. Would that be
That's right.
the best way of
That's right.
summarizing what you
And
mean?
by a team, I'm not just talking about the technology team. I'm
Yeah.
talking about the organization. In order to be successful, and let's talk about in the technology world, right? As a chief information leader, so to speak, right? Being a leader, you're not just leading your team. You're leading an organization. You're leading an effort. You're leading a journey, right? And to be able to do that, you need everybody within the organization to get there, right? And that's the village that I'm talking about. I'm building solutions for the people that are doing the day-to-day operations. They are the people who know uh, all the things that are the ins and the outs and the examples and the case studies. It would be crazy to build a solution without their input, without their thought process, right? Without them being involved in the journey. And this is what I'm talking about the village, right? You have to have everybody in it to be able to be successful.
Yeah, and it goes both ways, right? In that village community, you've got to talk to them, they've got to talk to you, you've got to listen, you've got to communicate, and so on and so forth. So that makes perfect sense.